All you beautiful people, let's go. Let's get in this thing. All right. So this is our beginner setter lesson. I was going to do finding the problem inside of the framework, but I think what would be most beneficial for all three of you guys is to go over the framework, the overall framework of an appointment setter, what they should be doing, what is the purpose, and how we go about it. Okay, and then we're going to go into some role plays if we get into it at the end, just to make sure everyone's on the same page. So let's go into the setter framework. Okay. Okay. So we have the setter framework. Okay. So we have rapport stage, which is going to be the call opener and trust and temp check questions. That's the rapport stage. You're going to have the problem, which is finding the problem questions. Okay, we're going to have context, which is context and background questions. We're going to have pain. Those are pain questions. Okay, the goal, we have desired outcome questions. And if they're a good fit, then we pitch them the next sales call, which would look something like this. And then we actually set the appointment. Right before we set the appointment, what we do is we financially qualify. And the reason why we run this framework like this of call opener, what the problem is, get context, pain, goal, pitch, set, and financially qualify is you guys got to understand the purpose of being an appointment setter is just to filter out the best leads and put the best leads on a closer calendar. And you got to protect the closer like he's a quarterback in football. We got to protect him. Okay. The closer's time is the most important time on the team because if their time is filled with activities that aren't going to be producing income for the business, then they're not producing commissions for themselves, for the business, and for the setters, and for the marketing. Right. So without the closers, if the closer's time is going to be super filled up, then we're really messing up here. So the appointment setter, I talked about this with Sydney just about 30 minutes ago. To give an analogy, it's like you want to make lemonade here. Your job as a setter is to filter out the best lemons, squeeze them a little bit, and say which ones are the most juiciest ones, because I want to make some really good fucking lemonade with it. You squeeze some juice, you cut it open. Wow, this is a really juicy one. All right. Let the closer squeeze the shit out of it. Okay. Now, if you pick up a lemon and they're not super juicy yet, or they're not ripe yet, or they're not ready to be used, we put them in a different pipeline depending on which stage they're at as far as the growth. Are they still in the tree and they're still babies, right? Are they old and moldy and we can't even use them, right? What stage the lemon's at is where we're going to put them in different pipelines. And we'll talk about that a little bit as well. But the rapport section. So let's dive into the rapport section real quick. So the rapport section. The outcome that you want here is to create a successful conversation conversion. You want to diffuse tension and start a discovery. And the reason why I say create a successful conversation conversion is because you can call a lot of people and people can pick up. But if you don't convert a conversation, if people throw you off and say, oh, I'm too busy, I can't talk right now, right? Then that's a failed conversation, right? It's not a successful conversation. So you want to convert the pickups into conversations. So the call openers to diffuse them, get them to tell us information that we need to start pushing them forward in the sales process. Pattern breakups, humor, and confidence go a long way. So how the call opener goes, it's ring ring. Hey, Brianna? Yeah, who's this? Brianna, this is just sales rep with High Ticket Dealers, Joey's team. How you doing today? I'm doing great. I just got back from, I'm doing great. How are you? I'm doing fantastic. I just got back from run. So we're going to add a human touch to make them sound, make the prospect know that we're just another human and we're not here to sell them. Okay. We're here to help them out. And we're just humans to humans. Okay. So we're going to add a human touch to make it feel like we're just not every other sales rep. Okay. The next line, but the reason why I'm giving you a ring is because you had put your info into reasons, one of our ads about potentially getting some help when it comes to high ticket sales. Is that right? The reason why we ask it that way, especially with the next line, I would love to send you something more relevant toward your specific situation, or I would love to send you something that's going to help you out personally, or I would love to send you something that's just really going to give you a lot of value, whatever it is. We want to, in the conversation, again, to complete a successful conversation, we need to get them to give us the answers that we need to push the sales forward in the process. So we want to give them a benefit right away, as fast as possible. Like, here's a benefit. Give me the answers I need, and I'm going to help you out. I would love to send you something that's actually going to help you out personally. And then we take. So we always give and then we take. The reason why I'm giving you a call, explanation, is because I'm here to give you something. But in order for me to give you something, I just got to figure out a little bit about you, your situation, and your experience, just so I can figure out what to send you that's going to benefit you personally. And we want to think about this like a doctor. Okay, so if you walk into a doctor's office, or if you call a doctor's office because you're feeling sick and you want to schedule an appointment, they're going to ask you what's wrong, right? And you don't want them to just prescribe medicine over the phone. You want them to book you in with the right doctor who's going to be able to help you in whatever you need help with. So if you call I don't know, a pediatrician, right? Is that a kid's doctor, a pediatrician? I think it is. Right. So we call a pediatrician and we're 30 years old and we say my leg's broken. You think that person's really gonna be able to help you out? No, right? So you want to have them book an appointment with you, right? You want them to refer you to something else. So your job, again, as the appointment setter, is to figure out where to put them. Because we don't even know if we can help them out. We have no idea. We're just trying to figure out what is their current situation, what is their desired situation, do they need help with our method of process where we bridge gaps as a company? Can we help them get there, and do they want help? Okay. So we need to give them benefit. That way they give us the information we need so we can actually help them. So we ask a open-ended question to see how open and closed off they are. And we get to see the information that they're giving us. And again, whether it's going to push the sale forward, whether it's not, again, we're just trying to position ourselves to see how we can help them out the best, right? If we need to ask more specific questions, more open-ended questions, how warm they are, how cold they are, because depending on how warm they are, how closed off they are, or how cold they are, I might not even set an appointment with them. I might give them some nurture content. I might refer them to a competitor. I have no idea, right? Depending on what they're looking for. So when you first call them up, you have to give them benefit and then give them context of why you need the information so you can create a successful conversation, convert a pickup to a conversation itself. Does that make sense? Does anyone have any questions on that so far? I know it's pretty basic information, but you can totally ask. And I don't mean to say that it's basic information if you didn't know. No questions. Everyone's good?
I had a question actually.
Yeah, sure. That's awesome.
Which I don't know if you want to wait until like we did role plays, but when I was working with Emma and you made me give her the objection of I can't talk right now. Can you call me back later?
Yeah.
Um, how can you kind of go over that in a little bit too? Because I
Yeah.
feel like I had that recently and it kind of froze and I was like, oh, I usually am like, okay, like what's the time that's gonna work best for you? Because
Yeah.
I have openings between my meetings or something like that.
Absolutely. That's a great question. So how we diffuse, right? Again, it all comes down to the confidence, how quickly we can give them the benefit of us, how quickly we can give them the benefit, right, to answer the questions that we need. So how quickly can we actually get there? So from pickup to benefit, it should be like less than 10 seconds. You have about 10 seconds before someone is gonna like start asking questions, right? So it's all gonna be how you lead the call. Make sure there's no um gaps. Once they answer your question, you ask a question. If they try to ask you a question, you answer it with another question to lead them in the conversation. Where this typically happens, it's when it's super awkward. You guys talk over each other. It's like, hey, how you doing? It like, or they're trying to ask a question and you're trying to ask how you doing. And so you guys like, and there's like an awkward space. You have to fill it first in this situation, especially in a call opener, and take frame and then ask another question to lead the conversation forward. That's usually where that happens because you have to understand that when people pick up the phone, it's usually because they're free. No one picks up the phone when they're busy. They just hit decline or they say, call me back later, right? So usually people that pick up the phone, Peter pipe that pick a pack of peppers. I don't know how to say it. But usually when people pick up the phone, it's because they're free, right? So we just have to take that mindset of like, you answer your phone for a reason. So when they hear it's a sales rep, when you're super awkward or again, you're not confident or you said something that was like completely off or you're like real nervous, they're not going to want to talk to you. Right. So we have to come across super strong, especially in the first thing, like in the first line. Hey, Brianna, who's this? This is just Joey with High Ticket Dealers. How you doing today? With a great energy. And when you do that, most people are going to respond back to you. Now, when you have the occasional, yeah, I don't have time right now. Can you give me a call back? No worries. The only reason why I was giving you a call is because you had put your info in and I just wanted to send you something that would actually help you out. Right. So you go straight to the benefit. The only reason why I'm giving you a call is because you had put your info in because you want to get some help and I wanted to send you something that's going to benefit you. So when it comes to high ticket sales, and I go right into the problem, what do you feel like you need most help with? Just so I can send you something that's going to help you. And I push the conversation forward. And that'll work really well for, I would say, probably 60, 70% of the people. But also, is it unreasonable if someone picks up the phone? You're awkward, maybe not awkward, maybe they are doing something because it can happen. Is it unreasonable for someone to say, hey, I am super busy right now. This is not an emergency. Can I give you a call back? Is that unreasonable? No. So we just say, no worries, not a problem at all. After we already give them the benefit, if we ask, so what do you feel like you need the most help with? And they still say, yeah, right now is really not a good time. No worries. What time zone are you in? Are you in Eastern, Mountain, Central? You're in Bulgaria? Where are you? Cool. I'll give you a call back tomorrow morning. Is that good with you? Cool. I'm going to go ahead and send you over some stuff in the meantime. Hope everything's okay. Talk to you later. And you hang up the phone. You never want to get hung up on. That lowers authority. I'd rather be the one to hang up the phone. Like, this is my time. This is my phone call. I'm going to do what I control the outcomes here. Make sense? Did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Cool.
And
No
I didn't even
problem.
think about the hang up thing that you said.
Yeah.
Sure, that's good.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you a time. I'm going to give you a call back. Talk to you then. Boop. Have a good one. Boop. Right. Make sure you like are not an asshole. Like, yeah, have a good one. Hope everything's okay. Have a good one. Boom. Cool. So let's say everything goes normal and you convert the conversation, everything's going beautiful. Right after they fill you in, you want to take notes on what they're telling you based on where we're at in the framework. Then we go to trust and temp check questions. So we're going to ask questions like, how long have you been seeing Joey and high ticket dealers for, or business owner and business for? And again, the reason why we do this is because there's 7 different levels of commitment that someone needs to have in order for them to successfully purchase a program. And if the person doesn't trust the business owner, not saying that cold leads can't close, the sales reps, the closer especially has to do a really good job on selling the method that it takes. And we're gonna go to that in just a second. But the reason why we ask this trust and temp check questions because the person wants to get help with the specific problem that we're about to find out, and they want to get your help with it specifically. That has to be true in order for them to buy the program. They can't want someone else's help and buy your program. It's not how it works. They'll buy their program. Okay, so we ask, so how long have you been seeing us for? That's just, again, temperature check question, trust-based question. How long have you been seeing our stuff? Are you brand new? Just so I know what to send them after a call, whether it's going to be a nurture, whether it's going to be a set, and it's going to help me prepare myself for the questions that I'm going to ask during the discovery. Again, it's another positioning question. I like to think about the rapport stage, call opener and trust and temp check questions. When I'm starting out in a call, it's like boxing. Okay, it's like boxing. So when the bell rings, the person picks up, I'm not just going to start throwing haymakers at them. I'm going to throw a couple jabs, step in, step out, get the distance so I can set myself up for a big right hook. So again, all I'm doing is just throwing a jab and seeing where the person lands, just understanding how to position myself for the future with this specific lead. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Anyone have any questions so far? Cool. Awesome. So if they're brand new, let's say, I just saw you guys yesterday. Yesterday, I'm going to act like I've been in business for a long time, even if the offer hasn't been. I'm going to act like if they've been seeing us for a long time and they just now hit us up, either way I go about it, I want to make them feel like they're already doing something wrong to create doubt in what they're doing. And that's going to help me with the problem. So if they say, I just saw you guys yesterday. Yesterday, most people see us for 6 months and then hit us up. What did you see yesterday that made you feel like we can help you out? If they say, I've been seeing you guys for like 6 months. 6 months? Most people see us for a few days and hit us up. What did you see from us that made you feel like we can help you out? Because I want them to explain themselves and get them to start talking and see their position. I want them to reveal their position before I reveal mine. I want them to show their cards. I want to see how closed off, again, they're going to be, how open they're going to be, how warm or how cold they're going to be. I'm just trying to see their card. That's all I'm doing when I do that. 6 months? Most people wait years and years and years of seeing our stuff before they hit us up. What did you see after 6 months that made you feel like we can help you out? A day? Most people wait years and years and years, months and months to hit us up. What did you see that made you feel like we can help you out? 2 years? That's a problem, right? You've been seeing this for 2 years? What did you see recently that made you feel like we can help you out? And they're going to say something like, especially if they've been seeing us for 2 years. Well, I've been seeing you guys, I've been watching, and I'm like, all right, I gotta step up. People will literally say, I've had sales calls where people are like, I just been wanting to see if this is like something that's actually legit. So like lasting long term, you guys are doing it for the long run. You guys have been in business for years. I know it's got to work. I know something's got to work. Like, absolutely. If we didn't work, we'd be sitting in freaking jail right now, man. Processing millions of dollars in the business. Of course, what we do works. If I'm like, they've only been seeing us for a day, most people see us for 6 months, a year. What did you see from us that made you feel like we can help you out? They're going to give me something specific for the most part, which is good. I want specifics and tangibles, things that I can work with to help them in their personal situation. So this is the rapport stage. That'll end the rapport stage. So it is the call opener and the trust and temp check based questions. That's rapport. Once we finish this, We have a successful conversation, trust and temp check questions. We can check off the list. Now, what's important here is that some people, especially paid traffic, cold leads in my experience, is that some people will try to really diffuse you and they'll try to take frame here. They'll try to take frame here. So, like I said before, kind of answering Brianna's question is when someone asks a question, we never want to answer the question directly to take back frame. We answer it with another question and flip the mirror and put it on them to answer the question, right? Because again, we're the authority here. So you can give me throw me something, Brianna, like, yeah, just how much is it? Right? You can throw me an objection, right? So it's like, hey, Brianna, this is Brianna.
Yeah, who is this?
Brianna, what's up? This is just Joey with Closer Wholesale. How you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Cool, awesome. I'm doing fantastic as well. Thank you for asking. But the reason why I was giving you a call, you put your info into the business owner's name, business owner's ad to get some help when it comes to wholesaling. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Do you want to put the objection in now or do you want me to wait?
You throw it in whenever. But
Okay.
yeah, the reason why I was giving you a call is because again, you put your information to potentially get some help when it comes to wholesaling. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, I'm really interested in doing this.
Cool, awesome. Well, I would love to send you something that's actually gonna help you out in your personal wholesaling journey in your situation. So I guess just like fill me in, just tell me a little bit about you, your situation right now, and your experience with wholesaling so far.
Yeah, I've been trying to wholesale for like the past few months, but I kind of just wanted to know like how much it would be to work with you guys.
Sure, $1 million. Is that enough for you? Is that too much for you?
That's way too much. That's crazy.
Gotcha. Yeah. So what we do at scale with the business is we help people with wholesaling. Now, depending on where they're at, the how we do it is completely customized toward the individual. So I would love to walk you through everything I know about wholesaling, but it'd take me about 10 hours. So just help me understand again a little bit more about where you're at right now, where you're trying to get to with wholesaling. And again, like, what do you think is holding you back from getting to where you want to go? And I can figure out how to potentially help you out. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. There's like literally a million different ways to do it. It's just what we do is you can even again make a joke, pattern breakup. I love making jokes on sales calls because again, I like to sound like me. It's just me, genuine. I love to fuck around. Some people are a little bit more shy, some people are a little bit more, nervous, but they don't like to make jokes. I'm just a charming individual who makes a lot of jokes and is very good with people. But yeah, so I like to make jokes. And again, it really fits my personality. But yeah, so pattern breakups are really good. And then what you can do is just flip it back on them. Yeah. So I mean, like what we do is we help people with wholesaling, right? But how we do that completely depends on the individual. So I just need to figure out a little bit more about you, just so I can figure out how to help you out the best. Does that sound fair? Cool. Again, it's just like the doctor analogy, right? Even if you book an appointment with the doctor and he asks you how your leg is, or you ask him, yeah, how your leg is, your leg's broken, but you can't see it, he say, well, where does it hurt? Like, doctor, how much is it to fix my leg? I have no idea. I don't even know what's broken. What's wrong with it? Is it sprained? I have no idea. You got to help me out. Right. So it's always that reframe of I need to figure out where you are at so I can actually help you out. Because here's the thing, we don't want to pitch people, and I see a lot of sales reps do this where they pitch people price without actually knowing that we can help them out. And you might even only have one program with one price. Some programs only have one price. But there's different levels of commitment that the person needs to be in order for them to get there. And we don't want to work with people who don't want to make a change, who have specific reasons why, because they're not going to do the work that it takes to get there. They're going to realize it's extremely hard and refund and waste everyone's time. They need to be sold in a specific business model. They have to want to get help with making the change. They have to want to get our help. So I'm not pitching someone until I know for a fact that those 4 things are true, that they want to get help, that they want to make a change. They have a specific reason why and they want to use our business model. And we're going to go over to the levels of commitment even more in depth in just a second. Are you guys following so far? Any more questions so far?
No, following.
Cool. Awesome. So once we go through rapport, then we go through problem, right? Which is finding the problem question. So, okay, so the outcome we want here is we want to find a problem that we could probe on that's going to create a pain point for the person or expose their pain points for that person. Because in the framework, right, this problem is holding the person back from getting to their goals. You guys have to understand that the people's problems that they come on with are holding them back to get to their goals. Let's say with high ticket sales, if they don't have the right training, if they don't know how to objection handle, if they don't know how to land a job, land a role, then they are never going to make 10K a month in high ticket sales. It's just never going to happen. If someone's trying to get to 150 pounds, super ripped, like absolutely shredded, no ounce of body fat at 5'7", I don't know how tall Josh is over there, but right, let's just say that's the goal. And
You really think I'm that short?
no, I'm just messing with you. But if they don't know how to lose weight or the right diet, right, or not tracking their stuff, or if they don't have accountability, right, they have this problem that they don't fix, they're not going to get to the goal. And problems create pain. Okay, so if someone has a problem, let's say again, they want to lose weight, then it's causing them some sort of pain point. They're not confident in the way they look. They don't like the way that they feel. They're not able to do other things, right? If someone has a problem with wholesaling, let's say they just don't know how to negotiate. Because of that, they're missing out on a bunch of money. And because of that, they're not getting to 15, 20K a month, 30K a month. Same thing with high ticket sales. Same thing with any program you sell. Trading, stocks, real estate, like it's anything, right? Literally anything. There's like so many different programs and courses and mentorships out there that solve so many different problems, right? So we have to find out what the problem is. That way we can get the goal and bridge the gap with the pitch, right? We can bridge their current situation to their desired situation. So how do we define the problem? Okay, we ask them, for you, when it comes to getting into high ticket sales, what would you say is just like your biggest challenge? Like, what do you feel like you need the most help with? They're either going to give you a vague problem or a specific and tangible problem. If it's a vague problem, most likely they're problem unaware, and we can help them through that and walk them through and teach them how to do a problem. But if we're not that advanced yet, we're still going to run the entire call. We're just going to say, no worries, I'm happy to take you through it. And then send them some nurture content to help them realize what the problem is. More advanced stuff, you can definitely ask them questions to help them realize the problem. But for the sake of this training, you'd probably just want to send them nurture content. Now, if they give you specifics or tangibles, let's say when it comes to high ticket sales, I need help landing a role, and they don't explain why they need help with that, they're not giving me the doubt behind that, I'm going to ask a doubt question. Okay, like, why do you feel like you need help with that? Why do you feel like what you've been doing hasn't been working for you? If they tell me it's objection handling, what objections do you get? Do you keep track of the objections? How much money are you losing out on, right? You see where we can find pain through that. Because we're getting these are also mini context questions to create doubt and find a problem and pain all at the same time. Now, if you don't get either one of these, if they just say, yeah, I'm just checking things out, right? Or just tell me what you guys do. Gotcha. So just to get some further clarity here, typically what I found is that there's one or two reasons that a client reaches out. It's either one, there's a knowledge gap. In other words, they don't know what they don't know because they've never done it before. Or two, they could probably figure it out. But identity label, like any real entrepreneur, like someone who wants to become super ripped, they want to leverage a proven system to get there faster. That way That way they don't waste as much time and money trying to figure it out on their own. Which one, if not both of those, do you feel like you fall into? And then why do you say that? Get them to sell you on why they're one of those choices. That keeps you as the authority, keeps frame, and gets them to release control. Again, because they don't give you one of these two, and they're saying, yeah, I just want to see what you guys can do for me. They're trying to take frame, lower your status, lower your authority. So this is what I do to keep it high and to keep frame and get them to release control. Make sense? Now, if I ask, what's like the biggest challenge? Like, what do you feel like you need the most help with? And they say, objection handling. I feel like I'm losing so many different objections to wife objection. I'm losing out on so much money. I have no idea how to handle it. I don't need to ask, why do you feel like you need help with that? Because you're just giving me the doubt. So I'm just going to say, no worries. I'm happy to take it through it. The questions that we ask, we only need to ask if we don't get the answers that we need. So if I ask them in the beginning, just tell me a little bit about you, your situation right now, and your experience with sales so far, and they say, well, I really suck at objection handling. I'm a high ticket closer. I've been losing out on deals for the past 2 years, and it's causing me all these different issues. I'm having fights with my wife, myself, because again, I'm trying to take control of her, and she's telling me that she wants to do stuff, and and then I got a baby on the way, and I'm just stressed out. I can't pay my bills. I'm about to get fired, and I would love to get to 10,000 hours a month. I don't really have to ask many questions because they're already giving me everything. Just like push the fucker to the offer. All right. So it's like I only need to ask questions when I don't get the answers that I need to push down the framework. Does that make sense? Go ahead, Sydney.
So, like, let's say someone says all that on the call. Great, right? They just gave us everything.
Yeah.
Don't like reiterate what they just said back to them. Just literally don't say anything, just great and make the pitch.
Well, you could do a little bit of a recap. So how
Okay.
you do that, I mean, again, it's very rare that people will say that and they'll be like super, super open like that. Again, you're gonna have to ask some questions to just make sure you're checking everything off. But you can say, got it, no worries at all. You did just tell me a lot, but let me just recap real quick, just make sure I got everything correctly. So for you, this is the problem. You feel like you need help with it because you just don't really know how to do it. It's affecting you in all these different places. You have these goals that you want to get to, and you feel like you need help getting there. Is that right? Cool. Yeah, that's something we could potentially help you with. So, I mean, let me tell you a little bit about what we do. And if it makes sense, if you feel like something we can help you out with, what we'll do is we'll pencil in a time with one of our right-hand guys, and they'll walk you through the entire process. How does that sound? Because again, all we want to do on a setter call is really this. I'm going to change this to the levels of commitment. On a setter call, all we really want is this. We want someone to admit that they want to make a change. To get someone to admit they want to make a change, we have to have a problem. And they have to have pain or a really strong reason why, a really strong reason of justification of why they want to fix that problem. And when I say pain, it doesn't have to be strong emotional pain. It can be a very logical reason why. I do fix and flips. I make $500,000 right now. Everything's great. I just want to get into real estate development because the same amount of money I'm using for fix and flips, I can make a 30% increase on my money working for me if I just get into real estate or real estate development. Totally logical reason why. Strong reason for justification. It's not unreasonable. That's like the pain. So pretty much you're just losing out on hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of dollars of money that you should be making because you're just not in real estate development. Yeah. Is that right? Like that's someone's pain, right? It doesn't have to be like super emotional, like, oh, my life sucks, I'm crying. Like it doesn't have to be like that. Not everyone's going to be super emotional. Not everyone's going to have this super strong, trying to get out of survival reason why. They just need a strong reason of justification, and that's what we mean by pain. Okay, so they have to want to make a change. They have to have a pain. They have to have a specific goal. They have to want to change this business model or method. And they have to want to get help with that to bridge the gap from here to here with this method. If they don't want help with it, yeah, I don't really want help with it. I'm just kind of just checking things out. No problem. You can try to handle that, but again, for the sake of this training, we won't go into that. And you send them some nurture content, and you'll have a setter process. We'll all build it out together for each one of your offers when you land them, or the ones that you're already on right now. And you'll have videos to send them. Go ahead and watch these videos, about 2 hours worth of videos. When can you get those done for me? I think those will really help you out in your specific situation. And it's just videos seeding in why they should get help making the change, and why it's way smarter to do that, and why every successful person works with a team versus just trying to do it by themselves, and why the most successful people in the world take action. They don't procrastinate. They don't try to do things by themselves. To go from good to great, it takes an immense amount of time, focus, energy, investment, surrounding yourself with the right people, leveraging your time, money, knowledge, right? All these types of videos get someone to realize that they want to make a change, or that they want to get help with that change. Excuse me. So we send him those things. He watched the video. Yeah, you're right. Let's book the call. Right. So that's all a setter is. The setter is to find out, does this person want to make a change? What is their problem and what is their pain? What is their specific reason why? What's the goal? Do they want to change through this specific method or model? And do they want help with it? If we do that, that's a set. It is a closer's job to pitch and align why they should want our help, get them to realize that the investment is worth making that change, and get them to overcome their fears and the things that hold them back, their core issues, and get them to take the actions that are required for them to get to their goals. Help them realize what's really holding them back. Now, the more that we can do this, the more we can set this down the line. We could even get them here, right? They might even know the price. They might even be here. They might just be scared. They might have a friend that's already done the program, and they might already be all the way here, right? But the closer still might have a difficult time handling fear because, again, they know they're on the call for a reason, because, again, they want to make a change. They have specific reasons why they want to change. They want to do it because their friend's doing it. They want help with it like their friend. They want our help because we help their friend. The investment amount, again, they know it's worth it deep down. They're just scared to actually do it. But again, as a setter, we want to get them at least here, covered. We don't set unless they want to make a change. They have specific reasons why. They want to change to the method, and they want help. If they just want free stuff, no worries. We're sending them free stuff that's going to push them down the pipeline, push them down the levels of commitment. Make sense? Cool. So once we define the problem, what is the problem that we can help with? Check. If the problem doesn't reveal where pain would be at, then we can ask context and background questions. So if I ask someone, so when it comes to high ticket sales, what do you think the most help with? Well, I've been doing a lot of research. I really want to get into high ticket sales. I don't want to do life insurance. I don't want to do anything else. I want to do high ticket sales. It's fully remote. I think it's going to completely change my life. I just don't know how to get started. I did a lot of these trainings, online masterclass, a lot of good information. I have some scripts, but I don't know where to go from here. No worries. I'm happy to take it through it. So if you're not in high ticket sales right now, what do you do for work? How do you support yourself? How long have you been doing that for? Do you like that job? What do you like about it? And when I ask, do you like that job? What do you like about it? What else? It's not to elicit pain. It can give you pain or a strong reason of justification. But when I ask, do you like about it? I'll mostly ask that question if the person's a little bit more closed off to me. So I want to get them talking more, right? If they're giving me a little bit more closed off, a little bit colder answers. Again, remember early in the call, I'm seeing how I can position myself as the boxer, right? If the person's a little bit more closed off, I'm going to ask them softer context questions leading up to where I think the pain might be. If the person's super open, I can be very direct and ask, why do you want to switch your job right now? What don't you like about it? I can be super open-ended and direct. Does that make sense? Cool. So you like the job? What do you like about it? What else do you like about it? What else do you like about it? Okay. And how many hours does it take up? How old are you? How much you making doing that? So you're 26 years old and making $2,000 a month. You live at home with your mom and you can't provide for yourself financially, right? It's like I just asking a bunch of context questions, bunch of jabs, seeing where this person's at, and setting myself up for a big right hook. So I load up the punch. So just so I'm all clear, after we get all the context, you'll understand where the person's paying at. If it's for biz op offers where you help people make more money, it's mostly always going to be in the finances, time freedom. If it's for fitness, it's going to be in how they feel, how they look, their identity. Relationships. Right, that's where the pain's going to be at. If someone's super fat, let's say 300 pounds, man, how do you think your wife's looking at you right now? What do you think she's thinking? Can I ask you a personal question? When's the last time you guys really did something intimate? Right? How do you feel like this affects your confidence? Right? It's like your identity, right? How you feel. Again, for money, it's so you're only making $2,000 a month, you have a kid on the way. What is this like for you? So the context and background questions is to understand where the person's pain points are at. But remember, if they gave us pain any earlier, we can dive into it. If I say, what do you feel like you need the most help with? And tell me objection handling, and they start pouring out all these different things, I don't need to ask many of these to understand where the pain's at. I'm going to go right into the pain. So, man, what is that like for you? How long have you been feeling like that for? And that's where we get the pain questions. Now, when you get the right pain point on the person, when you get that deep breath out. Brianna, you probably heard it before. Sydney, Josh, you'll know what I'm talking about soon. So when you get the right pain, imagine if I load up the question. So this is your situation. Is this really where you want to be at? If you get all the right context and understand the person's full situation to the fullest that you possibly can, they're going to say, no, it's not where I want to be at. That's what I mean by the deep breath out. That's where you know you got the right pain. Even for a logical person that doesn't have much emotional pain, so man, you've been fixing and flipping for 10 years, and you know you should been getting into real estate development. Man, how much money you been throwing away? Millions. I know. Dude. My guy. Sir, ma'am. How long you been knowing that for? How long you been feeling like that for? Okay, so the purpose of a setter, again, squeeze the lemons very lightly, see if there's juice. Maybe even cut them open, see if they're juicy. So we're not going to go too deep. 1 to 2 levels deep. Right? Does this person want to make a change? We're just seeing their true intentions behind that. How strong is their reason? If we squeeze out all the juice on the setter call, we go too deep on the setter call, there's going to be nothing left for the closer. So we want to put them in a state of internal pressure and urgency. That way they take action and make a change. And mind you, again, this is for the betterment of their lives. This is going to completely change their life. So it's important to put the person in pain and to not shy away from it, because it gets a lot of times, what I see a lot of sales reps do is they get super uncomfortable around these questions. They're super scared to ask you questions. What is that like for you? How long have you been feeling like that for? Because they don't want to burn the bridge. They don't want to get like uncomfortable. But comfort happens, Josh, in comfortable places or uncomfortable places. Where does growth happen?
Uncomfortable.
Exactly. Right. So you have to have the uncomfortable conversation. You have to be okay with talking about these people's situations, because they look up to you and your business owner and your whole business and the people in your program is, I want to be like them. They opted into their information because they wanted help from you guys. They look up to you. So you have to position yourself as the authority, as the leader, like you're there to help them out. So you have to be okay asking uncomfortable questions and guiding them through their situation. Because at the end of the day, if the person has this problem The longer they've had this problem for, the longer that it tells me that they have the inability to change their own situation and have poor leadership with themselves. They lack trust in themselves. They have more self-doubt, typically. If they've been knowing that they've been doing something for a long time, they've been knowing something has changed, they haven't done it, there's a reason why. So we have to guide them and lead them out of the dark tunnel and get them to the goal, right? We are there to bridge the gap from where they currently are right now to where they want to get to. Does that make sense? Any questions? Cool. So that's where we get pain. Now, again, pain, we can ask questions like, once we get that doorway of, is this where you want to be at? Or does that put you in a tight spot financially? Yeah, it does. Right? Or I just don't like where I'm at. Or I hate my job. Or I want to make more money. How long have you been feeling that for? What is that like for you, especially as the son of the house or the son who's taking care of the siblings or the dad? Or what is that like for you knowing that, dude, you just lost out on $1 million and you could have just completely paid for an Ivy League school for all three of your kids? What is that like for you? So, man, right? So that's the pain. Put them in pain. Then we go to solution-based questions, right? Which is bridging the gap from current situation to desired situation. So when did you realize that something had to change? You can ask questions like, so what was that specific moment you realized that something had to change? So like, if someone tells me, I'm living check to check, I've been living check to check for the past 2 years, I'm just tired of it. So like, what have you tried to do to fix this? Have you reached out for help before? Now, again, part of the levels of commitment. Okay, they want to have our help in making the change. So we should always ask this question. Did you reach out for help before? Because this is going to help us understand, again, have they hopped on calls with everyone else? Did people pitch them stuff? Did they not buy? Or did they buy? Right? What did they try? So we can position ourselves and our program and our sales calls and whatever we're going to do to help them as not that. Because they didn't buy before. When everyone zigs, we zag. Make sense? So what have you tried? And you still didn't get the results you're looking for? Gotcha. And that's why you put your info in to potentially get some help. So you want to confirm that they want help making the change. They want help digging themselves out of the hole that they put themselves in. Is that why you put your info in? Yeah, most definitely. Gotcha. So if we're able to help you out, what's the goal specifically? Like, how much money do you want to make if it's BizOp? How much weight do you actually want to lose? How do you want to look? What does healthy mean to you? How do you want to feel? Again, set or call. We don't need to ask all these questions. These are just a bunch of different questions you could ask, but 1 to 2 levels deep. So 1 to 3 questions, really. What's the goal for you? If they give you a low goal, let's say, again, in high ticket sales or any biz op, if someone's making $5K a month at their job that they don't like, but they want to get to $5K a month in wholesaling, is someone going to pay $5K to make $5K? Probably not, right? I know I wouldn't stay at the same exact income, right? So if they have a higher goal that they want to get to, or if they're telling me they have a low goal, I need to expand their goal. All right? Again, going back to the levels of commitment, they need to have a strong reason for justification. Because if they don't have this, then they don't really know if they want to change through this business model. They don't really want the help just yet if they don't have a specific goal, because they're not bought in enough. They can't be bought in enough. If you guys help people make 20K a month and they say, I just want to make 5, they don't know enough. Right? So you have to help them expand their goals. And again, you can do this on a sales call. My favorite analogy I use to help expand goals, if they say, well, I just don't know what's really possible. I would say, well, 10K a month or whatever like typical goal you guys get, average goal, it's definitely possible. But do you mind if I just offer you some perspective? Absolutely. I think it sounds like, again, you don't know if it's possible because you've never made that much money before in your life, right? Gotcha. So where do you live right now? They're going to tell me a city. Let's say live in Boston. Okay. How long do you think it would take you to walk from Boston to Miami right now if you chose to walk? A really long time, right? Cool. How long do you think it would take you to fly a plane? A few hours. Okay. So the difference between you getting to Miami within a couple months or a couple weeks versus a few hours, the distance has always been the same. It's the vehicle and the strategy that you use to get there. So the reason why you think that 10K a month is so crazy is because the vehicle that you're in, you're walking, when the people that we work with are just flying in a plane. It's much easier to do it once you just change your vehicle. Right? And that's you selling the method, the business model. Does that make sense? And that's how we get them to understand. It's like, no, it's definitely possible. You're just looking at it from like you have like a limited belief around it. Okay, so now you have the goal. Yeah, I would love to get to 10K a month. What would change for you there? What would that allow you to do? All this different stuff. Cool. 1 in 10th question. So how important is it for you to actually be able to do that on a scale of 1 to 10? For you to be able to quit your job, make more money, get to 10,000 hours a month, and never have to worry about this stuff ever again? 10. They need to have high intent, because if they have low intent, if it's not really that important to them, they're not going to do the work and they're going to waste everyone's time. Setter, closer, coach, business owner, themselves. They're going to waste everyone's time. They have to be high intent. They have to make it a priority. The reason why they're not at their goals right now is because they haven't made it a priority in the first place. They didn't make it important to them. Okay. So once we got the goal, all we need to do left is pitch, set, and find you qualify. So report, problem, context, pain, goal. You should have these levels of commitment. They should say, I want to make a change. I have pain. I have specific reason why and goal that I want to get to. They need to know that the business model or the method's going to work for them. To be sold on that. And they have to want to get help. Okay, if you have all this, then we can pitch. A lot of people might not know that you can help them out until you actually pitch them on a sales call. But the 3 things that people need to understand that they want your help is they want to see that the business owner or the coach, whoever's running the program, has the experience themselves to get the outcomes that they desire as well. So number 1 is the experience. Number 2 is they want to be able to see that they've been successfully able to teach other people how to get the same outcomes that they desire. The 3rd thing that helps someone know and realize that they want your help is they want to feel like you guys can help them out specifically with their specific problems, whether it's self-doubt, whether it's their fear, whether it's accountability, support. Right? And you can only get that part on a sales call or on like a masterclass or webinar, unless everyone just puts their information out there. Okay, so we can send them, once we have this stuff, we can send stuff like testimonials, right? Usually when it's in a pre-call checklist, some mindset stuff of why you should get help, why people work with us. That's all like a pre-call checklist for a closer. So you set them up, you send them this information, you say, make sure you watch these videos before your call. So you're already bought in that you want our help. That helps the closer. That makes sense? Now let's say if you get here, you guys find a lot of value. I got like a few more minutes if you guys want to keep running it. Cool. So let's say if you guys get here and the person's not really, he's like, I don't feel like I really need help. It's probably because we did a poor discovery. We didn't create enough doubt, right? We didn't create a big enough problem that they feel like they need to make a change, or that they feel like they need help with it. Maybe they want to go do it by themselves. So if we didn't get, I don't really want help, man. I'm kind of just looking for the free stuff. No worries. We don't set them. We send them marketing and resources if we can't reframe them properly to get them to admit that they want to get help. And once they go through this, we call them back up or we text them. We send them the marketing, send them a couple of hours worth of videos, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever, however good the assets are. And they say, so what are your thoughts? How do you feel? And you're looking for indicators, buying indicators like, well, I see why people, work with you guys, right? Or I see why, people actually get help with this. It's a lot more intricate or a lot more difficult than I thought it was going to be. It's like, okay, cool. Well, we can definitely help you out. What I can do is and you can pitch the set again. You can pitch the sales call again. If they're not bought in, you keep sending them this style nurture content until they are. And before you know it, you'll have 5 people hit you up on any random week saying, yo, I'm ready. I want to get help. I want your help. The closer has a no-show. Closer, you want to take a call? They tell me they're ready. They want to make a change. Right? It's like a hot one. So that's why it's important to take those lemons that aren't so ready yet. Maybe they're still growing in the tree. They're babies. They don't have enough juice yet. They're not old and moldy. They've already been squeezed out and ran through the process. Right? We put them in that pipeline. Nurture them. Keep nurturing them. Incubator, whatever you want to call it. Feed them. And let them grow until they're ready. That makes sense?
Makes sense. I have a question.
Yeah.
How long should like a setter phone call be with someone?
Should be 15 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. So setter phone call should be 15 minutes. All you need is the problem, which is there comes with doubt around that, context and background to find the pain. What is it? Solution-based questions. What have they tried? Goal. Again, do they want to make a change? Do they have specific goals? Do they want to do it through this method? Do they need help? Right. Once you get that, you can pitch and set. Pitch should take about 3 minutes. Setting the appointment should take about 2.
Okay.
Okay. So it should take about 10 minutes for the discovery from call opener to where you're at. Pitching and set should take about 5. Maybe, let me rephrase that. Discovery should take anywhere from 10 to 12 minutes. Pitch and set should take 2 to 3 minutes. Which should be about 15 minutes long. That make sense?
Makes sense.
Yeah, cool. So if you're going like way over that, it's because we're going too deep somewhere, or we're not asking really good questions to get the answers that we want. It's taking us more questions to get the same outcome. Right. Or we're talking to a really open-ended person, asking super specific questions when we could just ask them why instead of all the super specifics, because they're very long-winded. Again, they're super open. So they're dragging it out, they're yapping. When we could just ask like very direct questions, I would say. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So people like make those mistakes. That's why it kind of takes a lot longer. Now, for the pitch, it goes something like this. Awesome. So, Sydney, this is exactly what we help people do. So let me give you a quick rundown on business real quick. So we've been in high ticket sales for the past 4 years. Business owner himself has the experience, has done it himself, right? Because we want the levels of commitment. I want your help. Why does someone want the business owner's help? Because it has the experience. They've been successfully able to help others do it, and they can successfully help you do it. Okay, so the pitch goes, has the experience himself, has been able to help others do it. So not only are we very active in the field, but we also walk others just like yourself through the entire process. Right? So you're helping bridge the gap of you should get our help. This is why people come to us. This is why people come get our help. Quick high-level overview. With wholesaling, we teach you how to find the land, find the properties, negotiate, find the leads, find the buyers, right? From high-ticket sales, getting you trained up, place on offers, help you become the top rep. Again, we're selling why we can help them specifically next. Now, we're not just getting you in, telling you to watch some videos and go fuck off and find your own job. We're going to walk you through exactly what to do so you develop a skill, so you know how to land a role for life. Right? So we can help you specifically. Here's how we're different than everyone else. Right? Why would they want our help? Because we want to position ourselves differently than everyone else. We're not just going to give you some courses like everyone else does. We're actually going to give you a mentorship program and walk you through it, but we're not going to mention mentorship program. We're just going to walk you through it, right? Help you out specifically. You mentioned, so can they help me? Can they help you, right? That's what they want to know. Can they help me? You mentioned that you were needing help with problem. That's exactly what we help people do. Does that make sense? So this pitch broken down, because we already have, I want to make a change. I want to change my financial situation. I want to change this method. I want to get help with the method. This is what we help people do. Now, let me send them the pre-call checklist with the testimonials, different stuff like that to back up what we said. Now, they're already here. And a closer, all they have to do is just put them back in this state, handle this, and this. Get them to overcome the fears, have strong leadership, and take the risks that they've needed to. That's ultimately going to help them completely change their life.
I have a question.
Sure.
So we're doing that for a setter call.
Yep. I want to make a change,
Okay.
which is what's the problem? What pain points is that causing? What's the goal? Why do you feel like you need help with that? Is that why you put your information in so you can get help with that? Cool. Awesome. And so this is exactly what we help people do. Again, this is not as elongated as you think it is. Okay. Now, again, what's much easier if you're getting someone who's super combative, someone who is, again, just super cold, not giving you the answers you need. Again, you can tell them they're just a little bit closed off, not ready yet. Again, you want to run the call as much as you possibly can, but if you can't handle it, no worries. What I think would be the best thing for you, identify their level of commitment and send them nurture content based on where they're at in their level of commitment. Make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. So that's what this is. This is the pitch. Then we want to get their buy-in. So we pitch them and say, essentially, temp check, not temp check, but get them to commit. So now we speak to a lot of people over the phone, and obviously they're not as serious as you are or as committed as you. So we're identity labeling them, identity framing them. You're serious, you're committed. We're planting that in their head. So what I can do for you is I can send you some free trainings. Although they're good, they're not going to be like the magic bullet that's going to get you to $10,000 a month tomorrow. So what I'd rather do for you personally is pencil in a time with one of Joey's right-hand guys or Joey himself or one of their top advisors or one of our main partners, right? You're going to edify the closer as the guys are super high up. Again, they're super busy, but I can get them to sit down over Zoom with you and really take a deeper look at your situation and walk you through exactly how we be able to help you out in your specific situation. Does that sound good? Yes. And that's why sales calls are a thing, because the pitch is tailored towards a specific individual. The pitch is slightly varied every single time towards the individual's problems that they have. If it was just the same pitch every single time, we could just run a webinar. But that's the reason why we do discovery, to find out what the person's personal situation. Right? How can we bridge their gap? How can we get to see that this is going to be the method? This is going to be the bridge. It's going to get them from here to here, where they want to go. Does that sound good? Do you want to get from here to here? Are you serious? Are you committed? Yes. Does it sound good? Cool. Sounds good. Cool. So what I'm going to do I'm going to send you over a couple videos and resources to break down a little bit more about how we can help. That way you're fully informed and confident on their process. And we can eliminate some of those frequently asked questions in that call with their partner, right-hand guy, whatever you want to call it. Advisor can be as productive as possible. Does that sound cool? Cool. So you're going to pull up a calendar, their booking link, the closer's booking link. Awesome. So now find a time that makes sense for the both of you. You're located in location, right? You're located in Boston, right? That's Eastern time. Again, you're working remote. So you're talking with people who are all over the world. The worst thing you can do is have a beautiful sales call, beautiful setter call, and set up the person for the wrong fucking time because you didn't get the right time zone. It's the worst thing you can do. All right. So if they're in California, again, they're 3 hours behind Eastern time, right? If they're in Utah, New Mexico, that's Mountain time for the most part. Arizona, right? Sometimes it can be a Pacific time. You got to find out what is their time zone, right? What time is it for them right now? You're going to shoot for as soon as possible and give them 2 choices to choose from. Again, we're leading them. These people have a problem. They have a goal. They haven't been able to do it by themselves. We're doing the heavy lifting for them. We're guiding them. We can do this time or this time. What works better for you? You only give them 2 choices. What works better for you? The people who are really committed, I'll make the time. I'll do whatever it takes. I'll literally quit my job right now. I've had people do. Because they're so bought in. Right? The marketing's really good. Offers really dialed in. Really good questions. Connected really well. Strong rapport. Found out the person's real situation. They trust me. Like they're ready to go. Okay. So people who are really committed, we'll find a time. What works better for you? Cool. Now, I just got to fill out a quick form. The advisor, really short form, whoever I put on this calendar, just make sure that you guys can really hit the ground running. I have some of the info, but I still need like a little bit more help from you real quick, and then we can hop off. Cool, no worries. And you do a quick recap. So the form, the reason why we're doing this is because we're going to ask soft questions and build up to ask about their finances. Because if you ask about finances right away, it's like we booked them in. Okay, and how much money do you have, by the way? Right, it can cause some resistance. So we want to kill the resistance, and again, ask softer questions in the beginning, and then we ask the next question like it's nothing to lower the resistance, keep the resistance as low as possible. So really quick form. So just so I'm all clear, you need help with problem, correct? Yes. No worries. And how soon are you looking to fix that? Like how soon are you looking to get into high ticket sales? How soon are you looking to learn how to negotiate in wholesaling? How soon are you looking to start dropping some weight? How soon are you looking to get back in the gym? How soon are you looking to build a house? Right. And do you have at least time frame required to fix that problem so you can get to the goals? And is there anyone else we need to speak to about you actually fixing this? Like business partner, spouse, mom, dad, girlfriend, boyfriend, son? Again, I mostly sell to B2C. Again, sophisticated buyers are people who are high-level individuals. They've already gone through a bunch of personal development, but in the B2C market, you're talking to lower-end consumers, and not in the way, and again, that's not in a bad, I'm not trying to put that in a bad way, it's just the way I kind of put it, where it's like people haven't gone through much personal development yet. So they are not good at really making good decisions. They don't have a high-level skill of decision-making skills. Right? So we need to coach them through that. Right? It's again more of an emotional buyer. So we can be more direct with a sophisticated buyer, more emotional people. We have to kind of coach them and guide them through that stuff. So for an emotional buyer, we say, and just because again, we don't want to put anyone in a super tight spot on a scale of 1 to 10, and you really want to sound super confident here, humorous, joking around, because you don't want to make it sound weird. But don't be humorous if you're going to make it weird. So, and just because we don't want to put anyone in a super tight spot, on a scale of 1 to 10, like 1, you can't really afford your rent right now. Like you're living check to check. You have to eat tuna out of a can. You're living in a box. Or 10, you can fly your whole family out to Dubai tomorrow and spend as much time as you want out there. Where would you say you're on that scale financially? Right? It's like a little bit humorous. It's like, oh, you're eating tuna out of a can. You're living in a box. Or 10, you can do whatever the hell you want. Where do you feel you're on that scale? And what does that number mean to you? So would you say you have like above 3K or like below 3K saved up? And the reason why we say that is because we want like the minimum down payment. Whatever the minimum down payment is, we want to see, again, if they're qualified. Because again, levels of commitment, the person has to feel like the investment amount is worth it, but they also have to be willing to take the extra required and be able to. Otherwise, we can't help on the sales call, right? Protect the closer's time. And again, if it's a really good offer, they should have some free stuff, free community, some stuff that'll help out in the meantime, and we can nurture and come up with a game plan for them. You want to come up with a game plan for these people if all that's left is this. Okay, so they say I have below 3K. No worries, it's like 2 to 3K, 1 to 2K, below 1K. Just because everything we do is customized toward the individual, and we want to make sure that we're not wasting our time. Most importantly, your time, giving you a game plan that just wouldn't make sense for you. Does that sound fair? Yeah, that sounds fair. So where would you say you're at? I'm at like below 1K. No worries at all. So instead of getting you on this call, what I'd rather do is give you access to our free community and group, or you can push them to a downsell or a low ticket, whatever it is. And this is going to help you out in the meantime. But for these calls, we would need at least a minimum of 2K ready to invest to get on. So I'm going to put you in for now. Again, this is really going to help you out. And I can reach out to you in a few weeks to see how it's helping you. And then we can come up with a game plan for you at one of these calls in the future. Does that sound fair? And again, at this point, they should want to make a change, have specific reasons why, want to change this method and model, want help making the change, want our help making the change. They don't know this yet. They don't know this yet. And they don't know this yet. But the next thing is, again, do you feel like spending the minimum? Do you feel like spending at least like 2K for you to get to $10,000 a month, making $120,000 a year? Is it going to be worth it for you? Who would fucking say no in their right mind? Right. And that's why we put them in a state where they want to make a change. That way we can create action and urgency and to get agreement. So when can you come up with 2K? Guess what? That's another set or nurture pipeline. More lemons that are just about done. They're almost there. Those lemons. I can start to smell them. Make sense? Cool. And if you set them, great. Well, I just went ahead and locked in the time for tomorrow's meeting with Joey's right-hand partner. They're going to reach out to you shortly. I'm going to go ahead and send you over those resources, preparation sent over to your email. Just confirming. gmail.com is a good email for you? Cool. All right, well, you're all set. Just go ahead and check your email for me real quick. Just make sure you got the Zoom link and the pre-call checklist. Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you close more deals. Hope you have a great rest of your day and take care now. 75 minutes of a set of training. We got through the levels of commitment, right? Where the person needs to be, the framework. We got through the pitch. We got through the set. We got through the financially qualified. This is not a check. Okay, we have the problem right here. We have the context and background right here. We have the pain. We have the goal, which is solution-based questions and desired outcome. We have, this is an intent question. And again, intent questions, just to add, you can insert these wherever you need to increase intent or increase urgency. If the person doesn't seem as serious, again, if they're being a little bit more closed off. Just curious, can I just ask you a really honest question? How important is it for you to actually be able to solve this problem that you have? How important is it for you to actually be able to get to the goal? How important is it for you to actually be able to change your life? How important is it for you to actually find something that's going to help you out? All right, whenever we want to do that, whenever you increase intent. Make sense? Cool. That was a lot. That was a 75-minute training. Hope you guys took some notes.
Yes, thank you. That was definitely structured. Yes. That was a juicy I
Lemons.
don't call it a lemon, but it was
Cool.
good. Thank you.
What questions do you have, Sydney, or what was your biggest takeaway if you don't have any questions?
My biggest takeaway was, listening to, I realized that when we were doing like our one-on-one
Yeah.
earlier today and other times, I had the mindset of a closer, and that's not the mindset I need. I gotta have the mindset of a setter. Like I kept just forgetting that. So
Yeah.
I think that'll help me moving forward now.
Yeah. You really just got to get the person to admit, and they want to make a change. That what are their specific goals, right? What is their current situation? What is their desired situation?
Yeah.
Do they want to get help through this method, right? It's like why you can even ask a question like why wholesaling, why high ticket sales? If they're not bought on the method, no problem. Send them more stuff. That's gonna help them out. Again, don't send them that stuff instead, and then set them when they are sold on that stuff. All right, so those levels of commitments are super important. Again, really good offers, really good dialed in marketing. It's gonna have mostly all that stuff. And that's where you have like super warm laydowns where
Okay.
people know, like, and trust them, right? They know who the person is. They know they have the experience. They know they've seen other people's results. They know they have a problem that they can solve, that they have a specific goal that they know other people have gotten to with their program, right? They want to get help with it. They know they need help. They want the specific person's help. They feel like the investment's worth it because most of them are, to be honest, most programs and courses are worth the investment. They position themselves that way for a reason. And then all you have to do is really, as a closer at least, is to coach the person through their fear and uncertainty and help them understand that the only thing that's really holding them back is just them. And all you got to do is just take the actions, that they're just out of alignment. And that's where we get that core problem from, is just help them understand like what's really holding them back from getting to their goals. Is it a mindset? Is it an external circumstance? What is it?
Okay.
Make sense?
Yep.
Cool.
Thank
Awesome.
you so much. I'm definitely going to be reading that and studying that.
Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely. I'm probably going to post that inside the classroom because I think it was a banger training.
Yeah. What is I know what financial means, but financial DQ, what does the DQ stand for?
Disqualified.
Got you. Okay.
Yep. Great question. Brianna, what questions do you have?
I don't have any questions, but I think just going through again the reasons why we go through the framework,
Yeah.
and what the purpose of each thing is really good. And then when you said expanding their goal, because I've had a few times on the closing calls where I've been like, how much do you want to make? They're like, just literally anything. I'm like, well, like, give me like a number, like 10, I give them the range, 10, 20, 30K.
Yeah.
And they're like, honestly, like just enough to like replace my job, like 5K. But when you worded it, like, why would someone invest 5K to continue making, or like whatever, to
Yes.
continue making it? And I didn't think about it that way. So I just wrote that down. That was really good.
Yeah. And you can absolutely handle it because that's a limiting belief, right? They have a limiting belief that this method, it's not sold on the method, that this method can actually get them a realistic outcome of more than what they think,
Yeah.
right?
And
So
also we'll
you
show
can
like
handle,
lower intent, I feel like, because it's like you don't know what
yeah,
you want to make.
yeah,
Just kind of
exactly.
okay with anything.
Yeah. So we can increase intent and we can still handle that. But if you aren't comfortable in handling that, if you don't firmly believe by the time you have to transition to the pitch as a closer, if you're on a call like that, then you don't pitch, you send them videos and you do a 2 call close.
Yeah. Yeah,
That makes sense?
for
Again,
sure.
if they're not bought in it, because then again, that shows me again they're not sold on the method, right? And if they're not sold on the method, watch this, right? So if the person, again, if they don't have a specific goal, then they can't be sold on the method because the method, what we do to get them there is just the bridge, right? So that tells me again that they're not sold on the method because they don't even have a specific goal. So we can't convince someone that the investment amount is going to be worth it for them if they're not even sold on wholesaling is going to be the thing for them. We can't sell them on getting our help to make the change. They don't even know if they want to make a change, or they don't even know if they need help making the change because they don't even know if wholesaling is the thing. They don't even know wholesaling is the thing because they don't even have a goal. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can't try to convince them and objection handle their fear. Again, if they don't even know that 10K a month is realistic.
I think this is going to help me and who so much too, because it's like I was confused too as like certain points. I'm like, well, I qualified this lead. Like, why are they getting on the closing call still not closing? But it makes sense. It's because like they might have certain levels of commitment, but they don't have all of them.
Yeah, 100%. Make sense?
Yeah, I agree. That's actually really good for the ending piece.
Yeah, most
Just got
definitely.
to turn it into the question.
Yep, absolutely. But guys, I have to run. Thank you guys for hopping on. This is a great meeting. I hope you guys got a lot out of this. Yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. Other than that, I'm running late to my next meeting.
Thank you.
No
Yeah.
problem.
Have
Have
a
a good
good
night.
night.